Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Guy.
And we are
the Action Guys. At least we can still do that.
Yes.
You backstabbing traitor.
Look, man, you made your choice. That's a different thing than this thing. Don't bring that into this room. You don't bring that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
What's the line from Pulp Fiction? My name's Paul, and this is between y'all. Why did he say that?
Yeah.
That's a stupid line.
Yeah.
So Tarantino. What's up, everybody? It's the Action Guys. We're here. We talk about action movies. We talk about all kinds of movies, actually, on this show.
Yeah, we don't really talk about action movies.
Yeah.
We kind of like start with an action movie idea and then tangent off of it. And so our idea this week was that, I don't know if you guys had heard, but there's news in Gotham.
Well, yeah, there was a report last week that Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman that's been for 2 years now in circulation, rumors, is going to start shooting at the end of the year. And we still don't know who's going to play Batman.
No, which is crazy.
It's nuts.
It's absolutely insane because I don't think it's ever been that way with Batman. It's never been like, we're going to make another Batman movie. Let's see who it is. I remember with Bond, wasn't it like, we need another Bond. Let's hope we can get Craig back. But it might be someone else.
Well, there's also been like, I mean, there's been rumored Batman movies over the years, right? Because it's been ever since '89, right? Ever since the big comic book boom that starts with Batman '89, there's been this premium placed on this character where the studios know that these movies make a lot of money.
Yes.
And so, I mean, everything from there was a rumored fifth movie in the original 4 that was in production at one point. People were talking about it. It was going to be the Scarecrow played by Nick Cage. Do you know this? This is like '99.
Dude, I would have loved that.
Schumacher was going to come back because the dailies had looked so good on Batman and Robin while they were shooting it.
The dailies had looked so good.
I don't even know how that's fucking possible.
Because there's no audio.
But anyway, the long story short, this has never happened. You're right.
Right.
And there's rumors about who is going to be Batman for this movie.
If you could pick anyone to be the new Batman, who would you pick? You could pick anyone in the world.
Hugh Jackman. No, I wouldn't pick
that's sick.
I love Jackman.
Just like give him a little bit of what are the Botox?
Yeah, I don't know who you can really like. Honestly, because one of the big rumors on Campia's show, like a year ago now, there was a rumor that had broken that Gyllenhaal was going to be Batman. That was a thing that I think Campia broke that news, and
it feels impossible now with a trailer coming out yesterday with Mysterio in it.
Yeah,
Far From Home, but as you and I have both known before, it happens.
I would take Gyllenhaal as Batman.
Yeah,
I love Gyllenhaal.
I love Gyllenhaal. I think he'd be great. One thing I was thinking about is, and I'm brown for you people on audio, so I'm going to say this real quick.
You should be Batman.
I should be Batman. No, I actually kind of love that Batman's just like this rich white dude.
Yeah.
I think that he should always be white.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking if they were to change races, I wouldn't be upset. I think actually Michael B. Jordan would be a really sick Batman. He's famous enough. I think he'd be a very, very good Bruce Wayne. We all know he can be a badass, and he'd be a great Batman. I just don't think a black Batman will probably happen for a long time.
Well, I think a couple things.
And I'm not even fully on board with that idea, but I just think he'd be sweet.
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes when you take a franchise like Batman, you reach a point with it where you have to reinvent it a little bit.
You got to do something different.
Because, I mean, and we're going to talk about this today, guys. We have a definitive ranking of the 9 theatrically released Batman movies that star Batman. And that does, in this case, include Batman versus Superman, because he is one of the 2 main characters, but that does not include Justice League. We're not going to talk Suicide Squad. We're only going to talk about the ones that have him as a star. And talking about that, you look at all the people that have played Batman over the years, you think about it, and there's all these different eras. So if you really wanted to do that properly, I don't know if just putting, let's just say it is Gyllenhaal, or it's, I mean, honestly, piece of news. We were talking to Jeff Snyder.
Yeah, Snyder was just saying that they're trying to do everything they can to get Bale back.
That's what, Snyder says. I mean, he has like, that's information he has heard. That's legitimate.
You and I watched Vice a couple weeks ago. I don't know if he's in fighting form.
They just take like Dick Cheney level Bale.
Dude, that shirtless picture with him is incredible. And the 4 shot of him in like The Machinist and then Batman Begins, and then in Vice, and there's one more, in The Wrestler.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he's going to die.
It's got to be so horrible for your body.
Yeah. The craziest one to me
he's changing like almost 30 kilograms at a time.
The one that's craziest to me is the fact that he did Machinist and Batman Begins back to back.
It's like 6 months. He put on like 30 pounds of muscle.
He put 100 pounds on
Yeah.
in 6 months. And it was the craziest thing about that is like to bulk that hard, to put on that much muscle. You see the pictures of him when he's bulking and he's burly.
Oh,
he's not
burly.
cut.
No.
He started to cut for the movie,
Yeah.
but like when he bulked, he's like big. He's a bear. Because you have to just like
You have to put on the weight first and then shred.
creatine
That's
and
the
all
only
of it,
way you can do it. Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously we don't know. No one knows who the new Batman's going to be. I think Bale would be sweet. I feel like there's no way it'll happen.
Yeah.
I feel like Gyllenhaal won't happen either because of Mysterio. I think that Affleck should just come back. I get why he doesn't want to, but like.
I don't want him back.
But I thought you liked him.
I loved him. Don't get me wrong. I think that in Batman versus Superman, he's excellent. I had such an issue with him in Justice League. Like, I felt so disappointed by the way he handled himself in that movie and the press surrounding it and how out of shape I felt like he looked. Like, he just like looks like an alcoholic.
That's true.
That's
true.
He like looks old. He doesn't look young enough to play a standalone Batman movie unless you're doing like. I don't know, it's just weird.
Like doing all the CGI with making you look younger and things like that.
I just thought it was weird. It just didn't. He felt tired.
Get Casey to do it.
Yeah,
Looks the same.
that'd go over well.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was a bad one. Can we cut? Can we start over? All right. So, guys, just to let you know what we're going to be doing. We're going to be ranking. We're going to do the definitive ranking of the Batman films. I know that you said that, but we kind of like, we went on a bit of a tangent there. And I think the best way to do this is we always start with a thesis statement. And I think that this thesis kind of ties it all together.
Yeah, I mean, when we started this show, Action Movie Anatomy, and that show kind of has the idea of the thesis statement. Mm-hmm. And for this show, we didn't want to dissect one movie at a time. We really wanted to take that idea of thesis statement and apply it to a broader idea.
Yeah, dissect an idea.
Yeah, and so you look at all these Batman movies, you try to figure out, okay, what makes the top of this list the top of this list? And what occurred to us is that the greatest comic book villain of all time is the Joker. Now, we could be more specific, and we could say the greatest comic book villain ever shown on screen
right.
is the Joker, because that is what this conversation's about.
Right.
So maybe that's more appropriate. But I think it's probably
might as well.
But it's true in either case. I mean, without even getting to our list, which we're going to get to in a second, just outright, the only comic book movie performance by a character that's ever won an Oscar is Heath Ledger's Joker.
And I think he would have won it whether he died or not, honestly.
100%.
It was so incredible.
And I've contended on multiple shows that if, Darth Vader is the iconic villain of his time, Ledger is the iconic villain of our time.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like 30 years ago, it was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I mean,
he was the guy.
It's possible that in our lifetime, like since we have been of age to watch a film and remember it, like in the last 25 years, Ledger's probably the most iconic performance by an actor in our lifetime. I can't think of one that's more iconic.
One of the biggest other ones is Anton Chigurh, just because it was such a huge thing when it happened.
It's freaky,
but Javier Bardem's star power was never that of Ledger. It's just, even though Javier's huge, everyone knows who he is. It's just not the same thing. So I really like that. And I know one thing that people are going to counter with is... And that's the reason we built this next thing, which is basically the comparative argument, which is like, what about the Thanoses, the Green Goblins, the Magnetos, the Dr. Octopuses, the Lokis, Hela. We loved Hela.
Yeah, we were huge fans of Hela. And also, there was one other one that we were just... Oh, and we love Bane. We're huge fans of Bane.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I love
Batman
Bane.
Forever Bane, of course.
Yes, Batman Forever Bane Smash, which was I remember when someone told me after a while that Bane was like actually a genius supervillain, and that did him no service or no justice. And then of course Dark Knight Rises comes out, and I'm like, I was wondering what I was waiting for.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
But that is the conversation today. Is we're going to be talking about why that is the case. And how that affects Batman as a hero, because you have shared with me many times, to have a great hero, and I'll let you just jump in on this.
Yeah, I truly believe in order to have a great hero and a great movie, an action movie specifically, you've got to have a great villain. And especially in a comic book movie, you have to have a great villain, because we've seen time and time again, despite the Marvel movies being better as a whole, their villains are usually lacking for the most part. And so I truly believe, and that's why when you saw Thanos, it was so cool, and Hela and Ragnarok, it's when you get that great villain, it just makes your hero so much better. And the Joker truly is the yang to Batman's yin. You like that? The yin and yang?
You like that?
I mean, I don't think he did. He looked confused. I've never said it before. Look, man, it's a new year, new me.
I've never seen you so confused. So that's what today's conversation is about. Before we get into the full conversation, I want to throw out a couple quick shout outs. The first one is that we are being hosted by Collider on the Collider Podcast Network. We're very grateful to be here. This is our first show back in 2019. I just got back from Hong Kong.
Happy New Year. Happy Hong Kong.
You were in Tokyo for 2 weeks.
I was in Tokyo, I was in Utah, I was in Oregon. You and I have not been in the same room taping for it feels like a month.
We taped 4 action guys in a week so we could have content through the holidays, which I was really proud of those episodes.
I was really proud of it, and honestly, I was so happy to see all the interactions. It seemed like the fans loved it. They loved they loved all the discussion. They loved the Spider-Man thing. They loved the action comedies. That action comedies episode was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the trailers episode. I think they were all really strong. So we're back here. We're on the podcast network. That's where, if you're listening to this, be sure to check out on YouTube. You can check out this show and all of our past shows on the Collider Podcasts feed. And then, of course, we're being hosted by Podcast One on the Movie Talk feed. So if you're watching this, but you want to be able to listen to it in the car, go check out the Movie Talk feed, subscribe there, comment, like, subscribe. It's how we're going to keep doing the show and stay here to do this thing.
Yeah, and of course you can find me on Twitter. You can find Ben at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter.
You can find Andrew at Andrew Guy, and we have a Twitter page.
It's called @TeamActionShow, but it's really just a Twitter for me. And just like our Patreon, patreon.com/TeamAction, which really has just become the Andrew Guy appreciation page because Ben is a backstabbing traitor who abandoned all of us.
I thought we weren't going to talk about this on the show.
I'm not. I'm just promoting the Patreon. I thought we were doing this. I thought we were doing a thing here. What are you talking about?
So, yeah, check those things out. And then the last thing I want to point out to you guys is that we actually have a fan page for Action Movie Anatomy, which is another show we do on the Popcorn Talk Network. And we've done that for 4 years. We've got a couple hundred episodes of that. That's one movie per week. This week on that show, we're doing Batman Begins. So we're doing a full, in-depth, hour-long review of Batman Begins.
Absolutely. And that went up on air yesterday, which you can check out. Just type in Action Movie Anatomy, Batman Begins. You'll see it. And we're going to break down that movie in depth as we do every movie on that show.
What I was going to say is we have not yet started any kind of page of support for this show. And I spoke with the people that run the Action Movie Anatomy fan page this morning. You saw this conversation. And we are going to combine pages, or we're talking about some version of it anyway. We haven't decided what to do. We're going to find a way to basically feture this show within that fan group.
I actually didn't see this yet. That's great.
Because the fans are obviously very similar, and it's a lot of the same people. So we have to figure out how to do it. But the point is, if you want to find a group of people to interact that like the content we're doing, go find the Action Movie Anatomy fan page on Facebook, and there will be ways to feature both shows within there. We haven't decided what to call it yet.
There is so much interaction on that page, guys. I'm telling you right now, if you want to personally speak with Ben and I, we check it every single day. There is an incredible group of over 1,500 fans on that page. They throw up new trailers, new posters, new conversations, new news, absolutely anything action-related, and anything, of course, with Ben and I. So please check all that out. Ben, why is the Joker better than everyone else that we just listed?
I mean,
because I think the biggest two arguments, right, are Magneto and probably Thanos, right? Because Thanos is so fresh and he was so sick. And then Magneto, you got Ian McKellen and Fassbender in like 7 movies or whatever.
And even the cartoon version.
And the cartoon was sick.
Yeah. But I think the answer to the question is that, I mean, why is the Joker so good? It could be because 2 of the great actors of our lifetime and like before us really played him.
I mean, 3, honestly, if you want to talk about Hamill and how great he is.
Yeah, I mean, all the portrayals of the Joker other than Jared Leto. And we're going to get Joaquin Phoenix this year. We're going to see.
I forgot about Leto.
Yeah, Leto's in.
And Joaquin. But, I mean, that also speaks to it as well.
Yeah.
There's a Joker Origins movie that's coming. There's no Magneto Origins movie, although you could say First Class was kind of an origin story.
And also you get his origin at the beginning of X-Men 1.
Yes, of
the
course.
Opening scene.
Yeah, which is a great scene.
It's a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
And I love Ian McKellen, and I love Fassbender. But again, you've got Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest of all time. And a lot of people still argue that 89 Batman could be the best Batman movie ever. And then, of course, you get Ledger that wins the Oscar. No one else even comes close. So, like, other people I have on the list here, Green Goblin, we put on there because it's played by Dafoe, and he's great. But no one's ever going to throw him as number 1 on the list.
No, Molina's Doc Ock, I love.
Yep, Molina's great.
Big fan of him.
Bane, you and I are probably the 2 biggest fans of Bane.
I think a lot of people like Hardy's Bane. Yeah. I think he's really come around for a lot of people. I think he's great. I think Hackman in the original Superman is super sweet. Stephen Dorff obviously as Deacon Frost. Big shout out to True Detective season 3. I liked episode 1.
I will be honest with you. I had drank a lot with our good friend friend Matt Haggerty.
Yeah.
No idea really what happened.
Okay.
But it was good.
Yeah.
I remember at one point being like, this isn't that great. And Jason being like, what are you talking about? This is awesome. I'd be like, I need to watch it again.
There's two episodes that are up now.
Yeah, the second one we didn't get to watch because we taped the first one. Long story.
Yeah, they're good though.
But they were good. Okay.
But so yeah, I think there's a lot of options. I just think that for the sheer body of work and most impressive, Joker is the top. My favorite comic book movie right now is
Infinity War.
It's got to be. And I don't know as time passes how that's going to kind of contend with Logan and Dark Knight because they're my other two favorites.
And the other thing too is Thanos looks like Thanos.
Yeah.
He looks like a Titan. Whereas Joker, Nicholson and Ledger is a man.
Yeah.
It's a human man.
Nicholson's out of shape.
Yeah, he totally is. He's like an older dude, yeah. And something about that just kind of makes it more personable as well, more relatable.
Yeah.
Makes him seem a little more evil.
I think that Thanos, though, the discredit that I have to give him, as great as he is that he's built on 10 years of movies. So no matter how good the performance is by Brolin, and it's spectacular. He's amazing.
Yes.
But the problem is he's really that amazing because he's going up against all of these heroes that you've watched. You've watched Downey. So when he fights Downey on Titan, it's exciting and it's heartbreaking to have these moments, and his lines, they resonate so much because Downey's your hero. When you see Captain America slide in there and get him on the chin and hold the gauntlet,
right? That's your guy.
It's your guy. You've been watching him for 10 years. When Thor gets him with the axe, you're like, yes, Thor's doing it because he can do it.
Whereas in The Dark Knight, you're going back to the basics. You're going back to square one, right? Batman versus the Joker.
It's even movie number 2.
Yeah. Even at the end, it begins. He's got a calling card. Calls himself the Joker. And everyone died of excitement in that moment because it's the greatest hero, the greatest detective of all time against the greatest villain in comic book history. So I think without going too hard on this, if you guys disagree with us, please let us know in the comments.
Of course.
Please let us know below why you don't believe the Joker is the best. Let us know why you think Hamill, Ledger, Nicholson, and of course, I don't know why I did that face, but I was thinking of Leto.
You were thinking of Leto.
I was thinking of Leto. I was like, do I even mention him? But Leto as well. Let us know why you don't think the Joker is actually the greatest villain. Let's get into ranking. Let's get into ranking all the movies.
Well, what about do we want to talk about our Bruce Waynes first?
Oh, that's true. It's true.
I think before we get to the full ranking, we should talk about who is the best. And this is a personal opinion one, so we'll have a collaborative list for the greatest movies. But personally, who is your favorite Batman? Of all the people, Adam West, of Michael Keaton,
you know what's
Christian
super
Bale.
Weird?
Huh.
Actually, it's not that weird. Keaton's my favorite Batman.
Okay, yeah.
I truly believe Keaton's my favorite Batman. He's got this his voice is awesome. Bale tries a little too hard with his voice.
The gravelly thing.
Swear to me, where are the drugs? And you're just like, Jesus, dude, calm down. And I get it. You want to sound different. You want to sound intimidating. But Keaton just he felt like he was the guy that just had it. He just had it. But for some reason, Keaton's a little too weaselly when he's younger to be the great Bruce Wayne.
He's just kind of weird and zany and awkward.
Yeah, he's just kind of whereas Bruce Wayne should feel like he commands every room that he goes into. He's not bothered by anything.
Yeah.
So I truly believe my favorite Batman is Keaton. Because I don't think that Bruce Wayne has that, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
It doesn't seem right for him. He's a billionaire. Yeah, totally. You know? So Keaton's my favorite Batman.
That's your favorite Batman. I think my favorite Batman.
I think I know who it is.
I feel like a little bit of a recency bias because I just rewatched it, but it's Kevin Conroy, man. I was
totally wrong.
I watched the Batman animated series growing up.
Yeah.
And then Mask of the Phantasm and all the different additional things that he's done the voice to. It's just there's this real simplicity to the way when he's Batman, this deep quality of the voice that just really sticks with you and it just works. It just feels like it's what Batman should sound like.
Yeah.
He should have this deep voice.
And you're talk like this.
It's awesome. And last summer.
He's kind of intriguing.
Totally.
He always speaks that's very true. That's interesting.
He just has something about him that's just really elegant and feels like he's powerful, but he's also, I don't know, he's just awesome. So not last summer, but the summer before, I was doing press on the last Batman animated film that has come out, or maybe there's been one more, but it's the Harley Quinn something or other. And I got to interview Kevin Conroy for a second, and I was really excited. And I asked him a bunch of questions, and then at one point I asked him, like, what do you think would have happened if Batman had been from California? And he like started laughing, and then I was like, here, I'd written some like note cards for him. Where I was like, can you say these lines for me in the Batman voice?
Yes.
And he was like, sure. And so like, you guys can go find this interview. It's on Black.
I've seen this.
It's on BlackHollywoodLive.com.
Yeah.
But he's like
BlackHollywoodLive.com.
I did. Yes,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
And he's like, you know, I have him say lines like, let's hit up Starbucks on our way to Runyon Canyon. And like, he has like 3 or 4 of them. They're all pretty funny. And he was great. He's a great sport and like just a really, really nice guy. He's like this pretty like thin, kind of frail older guy now. Yeah. But like, he's just great.
For some reason, I just keep seeing Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah. that's Hercules.
I know.
So then who's your favorite Bruce Wayne?
I think hands down, without a doubt, it's don't walk through the fucking shot. It's Christian Bale.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's when he freaks out because like you've got to have that air of fuck about you, and he totally does.
Yeah,
that was a Terminator Salvation throwback, by the way, when he screams at the lighting guy.
Yeah,
it's not cool. It's not a cool moment.
It's uncomfortable to listen to.
It's incredibly uncomfortable, but I think that's why he's a great Wayne. I think it's because he has that guy inside of him. He needs to be a cocky asshole billionaire so that when he has that moment, it's not who I am, but what I do that defines me.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you. Can you say that
again?
Why
are you breathing so heavily? It's so that line, because it's so great. Come on, Bruce, come on. Let's go to another one of your hotels. You got more hotels? Like, it's so great.
Yeah, he plays that part of Wayne in a way that like Kilmer and Clooney and Keaton never could.
Well, and the thing is that Clooney could have pulled it off. Like, Clooney's a great Bruce Wayne because that's like who Clooney is.
Yeah.
That movie's just terrible.
Affleck, it gets close for me in both regards. I like his Bruce Wayne and I like his Batman.
Same. I like his Batman more than his Bruce Wayne.
But my favorite has to be Bale. I think for me, like, where I really like Bale is... like you could see the wheels turning in the way that he knew he had to put on this facade for people.
Yes.
Like there's that moment in Dark Knight after he gives the speech, I believe in Harvey Dent, and he walks outside and he just tosses out the champagne.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
And he throws it out, but like doesn't even think about it. Like he's like, I'm pretending to drink. I have to get rid of this. I'm angry. I don't want to have. I love this girl and she's with this guy, this idiot. Like I have to put on an act. And I love that. That's like there's just. Yeah, he just handles business as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that. Yeah.
He's a really, really great Bruce Wayne. I love the annoyance you see in his face. I love the line when he, you know, in Dark Knight when he crashes his Lamborghini and to save the guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, you think I should go to a hospital? He's like, you don't watch the news, do you, Mr. Wayne? He's like, oh, why?
Yeah, right.
It's just so great. He's
plays
just like an idiot.
He plays it really well. Yeah, because then also like, and in Begins too, and you see him as younger, and he has the gun to kill Shill, and like Katie Holmes slaps him. They give him a good arc, and I just think Bale plays it. He's great.
That scene with him and Wilkinson is phenomenal. Bang.
Yeah,
like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. So I think that's cool. We're in agreement about Bale, and you went Conway, which I think is
Conroy.
I mean, yeah, Conroy. Excuse me. I wrote Conway on the paper.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. Might have autocorrected.
It's like a yin-yang situation.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty, man. Let's rank every Batman movie.
Yeah, so I think jumping in first, number 10, almost like an unofficial number 10, because it almost feels like it's not really in the conversation. It
feels like a different world.
But it needs to be referenced, is Batman from 1966, Adam West Batman. It's a joke. It's from a time when people wanted Batman to be Jiminy Jillikers.
Yes,
It's just silly.
It's silly, and like West is a pretty sweet Batman voice if you want. It just doesn't work. And like now, honestly, I just hear the mayor or governor from Family Guy.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. And I mean the Joker,
the makeup, the Penguin, everything. It's all a joke.
Wait, what is it? Cesar Romero.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Cesar Romero, and he's like has like the stuck-on mustache. Like it's just the whole thing is just bad. It's like whatever. I mean, people love it for its campiness, and we want to reference it and not ignore it. But I think just to even discuss if it would fall somewhere in like 8, 9, or 10, it's just not something I'm going to do. So that will be our sort of honorable mention number 10.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just from a different time. It's just like you and I we didn't watch it, we didn't grow up loving it. So I think the next one we're going to hop in with is. Oh, really quickly, I wanted to say, I think we switch our 4 and our 5.
2,
what do you
3,
think?
I'm just counting here.
I think we swap them.
Okay, I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So the next one on the list is actually going to be Batman Forever. Now, I personally agree think that Batman Forever is in the top 5.
Here's the thing about Batman Forever.
Here's the thing. You're wrong.
For years, when people would talk about the Schumacher Batman movies, I would defend Batman Forever over Batman Robin in memory, because in some way,
up until we did this outline, I figured you were still in the same boat.
And for years, I would do that. And then a few years ago, I watched both that and Batman and Robin, and all I was struck with was like, Batman Forever is embarrassingly bad. It's embarrassing on every level. It's like trying for something that totally fails, and even
Chicks dig the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every part of it just is like not quite firing. And then even the villains, like TLJ had just won an Oscar for The Fugitive.
He's trying so hard in this movie.
And so is Jim Carrey, and it's just bad. It's like it's pretty uncomfortable to watch because it's just not good. Whereas Batman and Robin has legitimate comedy value that's like we'll talk about, but like it's really rewatchable because it's super dumb.
Yeah. I mean,
I just think Forever's a fucking terrible movie.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, the Batmobile looks like a joke. Like, they break into Batman's lair. They figure out who Bruce Wayne is. The whole thing. Nicole Kidman and Kilmer have no chemistry. Let me tell you, Doctor. Have you ever been to the circus? He like says that line. I don't know if you've seen 50 First Dates, but Samwise the Brave plays Drew Barrymore's brother who has a lisp and does steroids.
Sean Astin? Really?
Yeah.
I never saw it.
It basically sounds exactly like Val Kilmer in Batman Forever.
Is he always like lifting weights and shit?
Yeah, he's always lifting weights, and he got in trouble for roiding, and he talks about how he still wets the bed when he has wet dreams and stuff. It's phenomenal.
Is that movie really funny?
I actually really like 50 First Dates.
It's on American right now. I fly next.
It's a good movie.
I have a flight on Tuesday. I'll watch it.
I don't know about it. It's a good movie. I like it.
Okay.
Do you have at least a favorite part in Batman Forever?
I mean, you referenced "Chicks Dig the Car," which is a line that I've always enjoyed.
Right.
Also, I think I kind of like how like Pretty Boy Pretty Boy 90s fragrance ad Val Kilmer is.
He wears like a turtleneck and like
with like his hair and the glasses.
Yeah.
He looks like he should be like on a Dior poster. I think just him in general is like my fist bump moment in that movie.
I think my fist bump is the fact that I actually thought Carrie was sweet in this until I got to a certain age.
Yeah.
And then I realized that like this is horrible.
It's so
like
bad.
Carrie's still better than actually. I think my fist bump is that this is the worst performance of Tommy Lee Jones ever.
Oh, it's just
atrocious.
It's just because every Batman movie after Nicholson was a director being like, do that, but your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Be like Jack was in the first one, but go crazy.
Yeah, but you have free reign.
Just do whatever you want.
That's a tough one to have a fist bump, but that's probably just
we'll let it go.
Him looking like he's in a '90s porno kind of. All right, we're gonna go to the next film on the list, and that's gonna be Batman and Robin. It's debatable if this should be one spot higher for me, but I can't totally defend it. So
I honestly would gladly have put it one higher.
But I think it's illegitimate. So
it's bad. I mean, everything from Alicia and Chris O'Donnell,
nipples on the suit,
the Bane being like handicapped. Yeah. The whole thing is
Bane like literally looks like they bought a Bane Halloween costume and like put it on an extra who was like at the craft table and had eaten too much.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
They like give him like a tank top. They're like, this guy's the key grip. Put this tank top on him and give him this bag and draw some stuff on the face.
It's like you could have gotten the $400 costume from online, but you instead went for the $15 version at the store.
Party City.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's real bad.
It's not even it's a wrestler costume from Party City.
There are definite fist pumps in this because of Arnold.
A children's Venom mask that's stretched over his head.
Arnold is magnificent.
He is the best part of the movie by a mile. This movie's watchable and rewatchable just because Schwarzenegger is so good.
Sing louder.
Fist bump moment for me, and I've referenced this a million times because we've talked about it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's my favorite is when Clooney's like in his lair and he's like watching the video. And he's like,
what's his name again? Dr. Victor Freeze.
Yeah, Victor Freeze. Yeah. Who's like, by the way, one of the most badass
Batman villains ever.
He's like really nefarious. He's got a great story.
Yeah.
He's like awesome.
Was the story similar to what it was in the movie?
Yeah, that she gets sick and he has to keep her alive.
And he falls in a thing of freezing water or whatever.
I can't remember if he falls in a thing. He must fall in a thing. But he's like very evil and very smart.
Yes. Yes.
There's the very first comic book in the series that they came out with a few years ago called Gotham Central, which, like, if anybody here is a comic book fan, I read every issue of this series and I loved it. And the idea of Gotham Central was it was a story about the Gotham Police Department.
Okay.
And they always kind of resent Batman for, like, solving their crimes. And so the first issue is, like, these cops coming up the stairs and they, like, think it's just, like, a routine whatever. And they open, like, the door to this room and they see Mr. Freeze. And they're like, what? And, like, he just, like, shoots one of them, and the guy freezes.
Right.
And then on his way out, I think Freeze just kicks him, and the guy just shatters.
Right.
And you can, like, just see there's, like, blood, and it's, like...
Of course.
And it's, like, really, you're like, oh, my God. Like, if you were a cop and that happened to your partner. So, like, really cool.
I was so excited
Yeah.
to see Mr. It's just...
This is, like, just classic mid-'90s. Like, they were just going for... Oh, you know what? My fist pump moment from Batman Forever is Seal, Kiss from a Rose. That's what it is. I forgot about that. Great song on the soundtrack. Love it. Batman and Robin, though, like, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy is bad.
The plastic lips.
Yeah, the relationship between Clooney and O'Donnell is bad.
Right, them battling over Poison Ivy because of the pheromone.
But literally, everything with Schwarzenegger
is perfect.
It's great. So my favorite is like Clooney's in his lab and he's like do 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 do. He's like, Alfred, and he's like, the origin of Mr. Freeze, and it like shows a video and it's like old video of like giant bodybuilder in white lab coat, and he's like up on something. He's like do. And he's like turning levers, and you're like, what are you doing? You're not a scientist. And it's like, he's like, it just like falls backwards in a vat and like turns into Mr. Freeze. Like that's the origin. And you're just like, don't touch those. You don't know how to use those.
You're a bodybuilder. Art. What are you doing on this set?
He probably needed like an extra large jacket so he could like raise his arms without like tearing the back out.
Mine's when he tells him to sing louder. 100%.
Yeah, sing
it's
louder.
Like, why is this a part of the show? Why did you put this in the movie, Joel Schumacher? But Arnold sells it.
Oh, he really does.
Believe it.
Arnold probably had conversations about that character's motivation.
Where he'd been.
Yeah. He probably wrote a journal of his backstory.
He had Heath Ledger actually stole the idea of the Joker's journal from Mr. Freeze.
I mean, in reality, Schwarzenegger's just like on the backlot grilling between takes. They're like, Arnold, you're sweating your makeup off.
Oh yeah, his makeup's pretty bad. It's like a metallic blue pen that they just covered all over his whole body.
Yeah. Oh my God. And there's like a supercut on YouTube you can watch of all his lines together.
It's good.
Please
yeah.
chill. Yeah.
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
I love that line.
It's amazing. Yeah.
All right. So the next on the list is Batman versus.
I'm done. That's all I wanted to talk about.
We got nothing else to talk about. The next is Batman versus Superman, which we were both saying we might actually put Batman Returns in front of, or excuse me, Batman and Robin in front of, which. Honestly, after that conversation, I feel like it should be.
Well, there's a recency bias here to Batman v Superman, and
well, there's actually like sweet parts in it, right?
Well, okay, so there's like the warehouse fight, which I can't remember if that was like in the movie or if they had shown it before or something. But I think the warehouse fight is like the thing that people were like really excited about. Maybe it was in the trailer.
It was part of it was in the trailer,
and it looked awesome. Affleck got in sick shape for this. There's actually a cool thing. So, I love Gone Girl. It's like one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
And if you watch Gone Girl closely, you can tell that his body looks different at different parts of the movie. Mm-hmm. At some parts of the movie, he looks very clearly like pretty shredded. Other times in the movie, he clearly looks a little more out of shape.
Like a dad, yeah.
Because he was getting in shape for Batman v Superman as they were shooting Gone Girl. And so it's out of sequence a little bit because he was cutting a ton of body fat. Because like there's the shot of him in doing pull-ups, right? Where he looks all super cut.
In BVS. Yeah.
And like, so he got in great shape. Like they do a good job. He has like that cool like lake house looking thing where he's got the bottle of wine and he's like,
right.
They paint a good picture there. And his stuff like, do you bleed? You will.
You will.
A lot of that shit's pretty cool.
That line's sweet. That's my favorite part. Honestly, that's probably my fist pump is that or just him in that suit.
It played well in the trailer, but the problem is they took pieces of The Dark Knight Returns, which is like the most famous Batman comic from the 80s, which is supposed to be he's like older. He's like supposed to be like 50, 60. And Joker like gets out of prison and he has to like fight Joker as like an old man. That's where he has the suit.
That'd be sweet.
Because Superman in that comic comes to stop him, and he has the kryptonite suit and beats the shit out of Superman. And then they also took stories.
I love seeing Superman get his ass kicked.
Then they also took stories from the death of Superman, which is an early '90s comic, where Doomsday, this thing you see in the movie, comes out of nowhere and kills Superman.
Right.
So they combined both stories for this movie. It just was
Doesn't make any sense.
It was so unnecessary. And then like Wonder Woman's in it.
And Amy Adams like being the savior of the world by picking up the thing in the
spear.
water, which is like the whole thing is just kind of a nightmare. And like you could tell Wonder Woman like they amped up her. Oh no, that's actually in Justice League where they give her more screen time, huh? She just pops up in this one at the end.
At the end, she shows up,
and you can tell she's sweet. You like her, and Cavill's a great Superman.
Gal is a
Martha.
Gal is a literal goddess. So
yeah,
when
literally.
You see her on screen,
yeah, you're just like, I love you. I just couldn't. I hate the whole like faceless gigantic villain at the end. I hate the whole Martha thing.
That Martha thing's really stupid.
I literally think my fist pump is just seeing him and Superman like duke it out and him like kick Superman's ass for a little bit. I think that's awesome. I love the line, do you bleed, you will. Yeah. But for the most part, Snyder is just known for painting really sick pictures. And there's that scene with the three of them against Doomsday where the music comes on and like the explosion, they're standing there. Yep. You're like, this is sick. But you didn't earn it. Yeah. You're just like, we just got to this point of a cool shot.
Totally.
So I need to watch it again. I haven't seen it since theaters, and I know that I need to give it another chance.
Do you like Eisenberg in it?
No.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that he complains so much about what's left on the editing room floor, which I understand. That's a big thing in acting. It really is. You don't really get to pick your great scenes and your great moments.
And like Leto said the same thing about Suicide Squad. I mean, like
if you have, I bet you there's a lot of really great scenes on the editing room floor of Dark Knight.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of great fucking scenes on the editing room floor of like most Best Picture winners.
Absolutely.
It's like, that's movies.
That's why you have to be up here at all times.
And if you're doing something that serves the story in a really good way, then they'll probably use it. Exactly. But if you're doing something that serves your character because it makes you feel like a good actor.
Or if it just serves your ego as an actor, like you didn't need to look cooler as... I hated Lex Luthor. Yeah. And I actually like Eisenberg.
Me too. Yeah. I think probably my fist pump moments from BVS are like...
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah, me too. I like the second trailer a lot. I really, really like when... I like the first 25 minutes of the movie as you're seeing like I love the flashback shot where you see the city all imploding as Superman is fighting Zod.
Yeah.
And Bruce saves the girl.
That's really tying the worlds together. That's cool.
And he's looking up and he's legitimately terrified. I think that's really cool. I liked how they used Affleck in BVS. I was pretty excited about him. That's why it's so crazy to me that he managed to just, I don't know, just Justice League just sucked.
He just didn't care. It just felt like he just didn't care.
Yeah, weird. And the other fist pump is probably the press junket Hello Darkness My Old Friend comp that people put together.
That's so brutal.
And did you ever hear that he responded to that?
What did he say? He say he was very tired. And
they're like, what did you learn from making a Superman movie? And he's like, I learned to never do press next to Henry Cavill when you're tired.
Yes. Yeah, because Cavill's still kind of he's definitely a newcomer compared to Affleck.
I mean, we are drinkers, so we both understand what it's like to be on camera after drinking.
He looks so fucking hungover.
Yeah, it's brutal.
He looks like he's been on a bender since he rapped.
Yeah, he doesn't have any white in his eyes.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so we've taken a good amount of time to talk about the movies that we don't really love on this list. Now we're going to start to get to the top half of the list. Essentially,
I have affection for all of these movies, I'll have you know. But
I
now,
do too.
But now we're into the part of the show where you guys are going to talk about movies that we all probably like.
However, Returns being this low is a bit interesting for a lot of people. I love Returns. You are not in the same boat. It's because you feel it's a little too Tim Burton-y, which I get.
Yeah, I mean, so it's been a few years for me since I watched. The last time I watched it, I would say it's probably 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely saw it growing up. Batman was big in my family.
I've seen this a lot.
So I've probably seen this movie 4 times, I'm guessing. But the last time I watched it, I was struck by... I noticed early on that DeVito is creepy, super creepy, uncomfortably creepy and gross.
Yeah, he is a little gross. There's definitely a part of what they did for him as a villain where it was kind of the look away.
Yeah,
whereas with Ledger, it's you can't stop staring.
Exactly.
I like that. I like what you're talking about there.
And I remember noticing that and thinking this is just kind of grimy. It's a Batman movie. I don't really need him to be he feels like some sort of psychotic sexual predator here, which is odd.
Who, Batman?
and not that there was like an air of that. It just made me feel like this guy's too gross for a Batman movie.
Yeah, and he does have like kind of gross scenes where he's like all about the girl.
He doesn't
like,
feel
he does
as
a couple
intimidating
things.
as I want him to be.
But Catwoman is also so sick. Pfeiffer is so great.
She looks great too.
Walken is great.
Yeah. Like her costume's awesome. Walken's great. Yeah, I mean, but then there's a lot of the like stuff that worked in Batman '89 well, like the sort of gothic Burton stuff.
Yeah.
That he goes even further with.
He does. He starts to go like Edward Scissorhands status with it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I find that to be a little distracting.
Like the penguin umbrella flying away. It does feel like it. Because the other thing about the rest of these movies that we have in the top 5 here is that they're all based in a pretty strong reality, which I think is really important because Batman's not a superhero.
Yeah.
He is the greatest detective of all time, and he's a very rich billionaire that puts on a suit and is trained in ninjutsu, if you will.
Super shape.
And he's in super shape, but he's not actually a superhero.
Yeah.
I do feel that, because they even talk about with Catwoman, like the 9 Lives thing, which I get as a part of like becoming the villain. It does just feel like not quite as based in reality as the rest of the movies on the list.
He also, though, like animated Batman, just for the record. Well, actually, we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my feeling on Returns is that it's, and I think I would say my fist pump moment from Returns.
I love when she kills Walken.
Yeah,
I love it. She electrocutes both of them, like the taser thing, the tongue.
I was just gonna say,
sick.
Her outfit in general has become so iconic, and I think it's because when you go back and you look at the imagery from that time period, it just feels the most like it feels like Burton envisioning this really cool thing, and it's succeeding.
It
really
working
well.
perfectly. Yeah, it was perfectly executed. She looks so hot in it, but also terrifying with the whip and like the red lipstick, like
and the stitches.
Yeah, you're like, I would let her kill me.
Yeah,
I would let that woman kill me 100%.
Because there's just shit like with Penguin and like in the duck buggy.
The duck
just
like, and like also him running for mayor the whole time doesn't feel quite justified. It just feels weird.
Yeah, well, because they're going
Oswald Cobblepot,
and the reason that they go that far is because there's an element to 1970s Batman, like 60s and 70s Batman that Burton obviously loved, and he wanted to take a lot of that stuff and repurpose it and make it into what he wanted it to be.
Right.
And so that's kind of why that movie feels that way. All right, moving on to number 4, our top 5 now.
Yeah. So this is the audible that I said right before, and I bumped this movie down one spot and one up one. It feels fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Number 5 is Batman Mask of the Phantasm, 1994 maybe? 93? You sure about that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't take my time on that one.
Oh,
Shut
up! Not? Looks like I'm going to destroy you.
And this is the first Batman animated theatrical released feature.
Made like $6 million.
Yeah, it's like only like an hour and 20 or something like that.
It's so good.
But it's so strong.
So good, dude. Like, I was thinking this was the Red Hood for some reason.
Yeah.
But then I remembered, I was like, no, Phantasm's been out for a long time. And I went back and I watched it last night.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie over 20 times.
Yeah.
I adored this movie as a kid. As I was watching it last night, I kept remembering moments of like, oh my God, this is going to happen next, and this is going to happen next, and this, and this, and this.
As a little kid, I love this movie.
It's scary.
There's a lot like there's so many things they do right here, right? So like the design on the Phantasm is great. She's a great character. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil the voice of Stacy Keach. I'm gonna reveal for you in a second. So,
the movie came out a long time ago.
I'm gonna reveal for you in a second my favorite piece of trivia about this movie, and you're going to enjoy it.
This movie came out 26 years ago, so if it's spoilers, like, come on.
She's a great it's a great red herring, and like the thing on the scythe on the hand is so cool.
Yeah.
The use of with Batman animated series, the use of that sort of like neo-noir Art Deco design to everything. It feels like it's all based in the 20s, but it's like modern day.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah,
the
that's
cars,
true.
The gangsters.
Yeah, because even then, when him and his girl at the time they're at the of the future, it feels like they're looking at the 50s from the 20s.
So that's one of the weirdest parts, actually, that continuity-wise doesn't make any sense. That they were at like a brand new World's Fair, and 10 years later, it looks like it's been closed for 50 years.
Right. Yeah. That doesn't feel quite right.
Makes no sense.
I do like that he got the Batmobile from there, though.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like there's a weird origin story to this that they go with, and this is also you like find out that the Joker is probably, it's at least suggested that the Joker is probably Van Vanesco or whatever, the gangster guy's bodyguard. He there's like a cool moment where he draws the mouth on the picture. I always remember that as a kid.
Oh, dude, that's actually, so as an adult, it feels a little like a stretch.
Yeah.
But as a kid, that's my fist pump.
Totally. As a kid, I remember
totally
it was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie has this really cool quality of being like the Casino Royale of Batman, where it's like she's the one that got away that like soured him.
Yeah.
And for me, the fist pump moment in this movie is actually, and this is what I was thinking about why I chose Kevin Conroy in the end, but like there's the scene when he goes to his parents' grave.
Oh, it's so good.
And he's like having a moment where he's like, it has to be different.
You have to let me go.
You have to let me go. Some other people can do it. I found someone else. It's not. I don't feel it as much. And she's like, maybe they already have or whatever.
Right.
But like that moment, the acting by him is so strong.
It's almost one of the strongest moments in any Batman film ever.
Also, the writing is great because it feels like essential Bruce Wayne, like exactly what he would be going through in that moment.
Yeah, it's like he's talking about his demon, right? He's like talking about feeding this demon. He's like, I'm not the same anymore. I'm not as angry or whatever he says, you know? And I don't feel it anymore. And like, you have to let me go. It was like, it's such a cool thing that you don't get in the other Batman movies.
And she's like such a sweet character because she's like beautiful and classy and smart. And like
she knows. And I love when they fight for a second. And
and you're like, wow, if a woman could get Bruce Wayne's attention, she's a special woman.
Yes.
He's Bruce fucking
This is
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. This is Batman. He wants to quit being Batman for you.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's really good.
It's a bit of a stretch to have the Joker come in, but at the same time, if it's just Batman versus the Phantasm, it's not a fun movie.
Yeah.
So, Mask of the Phantasm at number 5. The movie that we wanted to bump in front of it was, of course, The Dark Knight Rises.
Can you say it one more time for me?
The Dark Knight Rises. The fire rises. But we started the fire.
Yeah.
We had to because you and I love Bane so much.
This movie's like criminally underrated. It's really, really good. It's long. There's some shit in the last hour that's like extraneous and kind of bizarre, and like it has a lot of movie to it. There's obviously all the continuity stuff people complain about where like Batman just like fixes his back and like just shows up back in Gotham, and how does that happen?
Right.
But like, guys, we're dealing with a world here of Batman and Bane, so like
superheroes and like, I mean,
you can stretch your belief a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, man, there are some sweet moments in this movie. Like, Bane is so good.
Bane is so good. The opening of it, like, I mean, Nolan talked about the opening of Dark Knight Rises saying it would blow away the opening of Dark Knight, which was like, are you kidding me?
Because the opening of Dark Knight is maybe the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And like, but yeah, his opening to Rises is insane. The 2 airplanes, the like heist by Bane. It's weird. I remember when I first heard his voice in the theater.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Because they had to ADR everything because you couldn't understand anything he said. And you can tell that they ADR everything, but they kind of use it as an effect.
Yeah.
That when he talks, like you hear it in your ears or something.
Yeah. You know it's not authentic.
They never quite explain why it is that way,
Or
but
practical, I should say.
it's just like an effect.
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
Yeah, and it starts. He like speaks in riddles.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's wondering why he would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
That's a good point. You know, and like,
I love all those lines. And you've got what's his name? Who's the Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, the guy, the CIA agent at the beginning.
I don't actually know his name.
The actor's name,
but I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's in that new show.
But I heard if I took that mask off you, for you,
it would be extremely painful for you.
You're like,
Bane's the best.
Yeah.
There's also so many sweet moments that Bane has where he like is so intimidating, and it's just goons just like follow him. Like I love when he looks at the guy and he's like, follow him, then I will kill you.
Oh, yeah, no, he's like, yeah, exactly. I love, I mean, he destroys Batman.
Yeah.
That first scene when he's just like speaking riddles, he's like, powerful agents of the uninitiated.
Yeah.
But you are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? And you're
he beats the shit out of
he
him.
cracks his helmet, he gives a concussion, he breaks his back. I wonder what was going to break first, your spirit or your body. Like, every line out of his mouth is awesome.
His lines to Batman in that fight were reminiscent of what it felt like watching Thanos fight Iron Man.
Yeah.
In the same way. They resonated with me in that same way.
But you also get like 10 times the amount of lines from Bane in that scene.
And they're all so sweet.
Everyone.
And he's like, and the fact that he's like warned about fighting him first.
Yeah, Alfred's like, he's faster than you. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like his speed, his anger. Yeah, you're like, don't do it, man. Don't
fight him. It's great. I'm a huge Dark Knight Rises fan. So what's your fist bump?
I think my favorite or my fist pump is when he cracks the helmet. It's when he's like popping him in the head, and finally you just see the mask shatter.
So my fist bump moment is in that same scene, except it's when he's beating the shit out of him, and it shows the goon on the bridge for a second.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows the guy's face, and he just looks like so sad because he's just like, oh my God, we're just watching our boss beat this like beacon of good and hope.
Right. Like
literally to death. He's just destroying him.
If Batman can't stop him...
Yeah.
Because, like, almost no one... Like, there's people that they want to be with Bane, kind of, but they also have to be with him.
Right.
Or you're just dead.
Totally.
So you see that... Yeah, that's a great look. I love that look.
That look is so good. And, like, there's a lot in this movie that's sweet. Actually, Hathaway's Catwoman is great.
Hathaway's phenomenal. I love... You can have so much and leave so little for the rest. Like, her lines when they're dancing as Catwoman are great. She's sexy. She's badass.
Yeah.
She's intimidating. Like,
totally.
Everything about her is great.
Yeah.
And it's, again, she's the type of woman that catches Bruce Wayne's eye, right?
Yeah, and she's also like that scene when she's like stealing the stuff and she's acting all meek for a second, and then she just like changes her tone.
I love it. She
on
kicks
a dime.
his cane out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I love her scream when they break it. She like screams like the most helpless person in the world, and then you see her just get up and walk out. It's amazing.
She's great. She does a really good job. 2012 is the biggest year of her career and 2012 is the biggest year of her career, and it's as big a year as any actress like almost ever will have. She won Best Supporting Actress for Les Mis for the first 45 minutes of Les Mis that year, and for singing the song I Dreamed a Dream, which appears in the first 45 minutes of Les Mis, and also, though, was Catwoman. You weren't paying any attention to what I was saying.
You said that she won from Les Mis, and she was also Catwoman. Yes, I did hear everything.
I was referencing the first 45 minutes.
Yes, I know.
I was looking for a laugh.
I didn't want to give you one because I want to watch the whole movie. We were legitimately watching the first 45 minutes, and we were drinking. I was kind of into it, and you refused to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, well, the first 45 minutes are relevant.
Perfect.
The song One Day More appears later in the film. I have watched that scene, but...
It's that scene of her singing by herself.
Oh, I Dreamed a Dream?
Yes. I Dreamed a Dream.
It's incredible.
Is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. What's your fist bump?
Didn't I just...
Oh, no, you just said it.
I just said it. It's the look. The guy's look.
So now we're into the top three, which gets tough, right?
Yeah, it gets pretty choice here. I mean, like, I think most people would assume two of these three are in the top three.
Of course.
I think there's some people that would probably argue. I mean, Snyder was just saying he argued Returns is really high. Some people love, some people love Rises. Like, I know some people really do love BVS. That's like, some people think that movie's really good.
I feel bad that I left you hanging on the 45 minutes, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then I think number three, Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's tough because I went back and watched Begins yesterday. We're going to cover it, or we covered it on AMA this week.
Yep.
I almost want to say that Batman 89 is the greatest Batman movie ever made.
Yeah.
But I also still would talk to you a lot about how I think Batman Begins is the greatest Batman movie ever made. I love it. It's so excellent.
Did you rewatch it recently and like come down on it a little bit or no?
Batman Begins?
Yeah.
It's tough because so much of it is... There's not really a true villain, right? Like Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow are both kind of red herrings.
Right.
It's really just about him becoming Batman. You never really worry about what's going to happen with him. So I actually truly believe that this was my favorite for the longest time, but going back and revisiting it, I think it's the best origin story.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it's the best origin story. I don't actually believe it's the best Batman movie.
Yeah, I remember watching Begins, and I think we'll cut our Begins talk pretty short here because I encourage everybody here, if you're listening to this and you want to hear us really get into it, it's going to be a full hour that you can check out on the Popcorn Talk Network, or you can download Action Movie Anatomy on the iTunes Store or wherever podcasts are.
Spotify. It's on Spotify as well.
And yeah, we're on Spotify now too. But Begins, for me, I remember coming out of the theater and like I wasn't paying a lot of attention at the time to how big of a deal a Batman reboot was.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I was just young enough that it didn't cross my mind that it was a big deal. I came out of it thinking it was good, like I liked it,
right?
But I didn't care that much.
I think it's because Ra's al Ghul is not like the villain you want to see Batman go up against. Like now, maybe I don't know what his history, his lineage in the comic books.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you're like a diehard,
Ra's
he's a great
character.
villain, but he's not the Joker. He's not, and I think Nolan did the right thing by putting Joker in the second
movie
and like giving us the true origin story because we really needed to pay attention to Batman, which is why he kind of gave us a not mediocre, but like not one of the most famous villains in the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
But it really just is about Bruce Wayne becoming Batman.
I think my fist bump moment in this one is at the when you first meet Gordon, when he first is talking to Kid Bruce.
Yeah.
Because like Oldman is so good as Commissioner Gordon, and he also just feels so much like the way he looked in Batman Year One, which is like my favorite comic book ever. So.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is you get the amazing supporting ensemble cast, right?
Yeah.
Like, which it really is just Lucius Fox, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You get the excellent Alfred, and you get the amazing Commissioner Gordon. So
Yeah.
I think he built an incredible world here. But I do have to agree, it isn't my favorite Batman of all time. It's so good. I love him and Liam out fighting in the ice.
Yeah, sweet.
But it's not quite there for me.
Yeah, it's really good. Number 2 for us, Batman '89.
It's so good.
And it's good because of Jack Nicholson. It's a good movie.
And Keaton.
Yeah, Keaton's sweet.
Keaton's phenomenal.
But like, it's really, and this movie's really good. It didn't lean as hard into the gothic stuff as Returns did. I mean, like, there's so much about this movie. I've always, the soundtrack's amazing.
Jack Palance is great.
Yeah,
you get him
he's
early
so
on.
good.
You get the turn of the Joker. You get the origin story.
My number one guy.
Yeah, and it's like a, excuse me, it's complete.
Yeah.
If you only got one Batman movie ever,
Yeah.
it could just be Batman '89, and you would never want more. Whereas every other, like Batman Begins, you get the Joker, the little Easter egg at the end of Dark Knight. Joker's still alive. Things are going on. Batman's on the run.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And even at the end of Dark Knight Rises, you're like, well, does he end up with Hathaway or not? Whereas '89 is just complete.
Yeah, it's just a single
you get
movie.
The story. He kills the Joker. The Joker's dead at the end. Like it's pretty great.
My favorite moment from '89 has always been when the art gallery scene.
It's mine too.
Yeah.
This is
Lawrence,
perfect. Yeah.
music, and he just
Prince, the whole thing.
It's so good. Party Man, I think, is the song that plays.
I love when he wipes off his skin.
Yeah.
And it shows that he's actually the Joker.
Yeah,
That is one of my. That's probably my favorite.
I love
part.
that. I mean, I love Keaton. You want to get nuts?
Get nuts.
And he's put this thing on his jacket. There's just like his like long table and like Vicky Vale.
Yeah, Vicky Vale's wonderful.
I just love Batman '89. I'm just like a big fan of it. Like
Basinger?
I'm not totally sure. This movie's also relevant for the other big reason of the comic book industry. The last time the comic book industry had like a massive boom was a result of this movie.
Right.
The success of this film in '89 propelled basically a bunch of new comic book presses to all come together, and comic book sales were like crazier than they've ever been. Like today, if a comic book sells like 7,000 or 6,000 copies of like a paperback thin comic,
It's like a big deal.
like if they sells like 50,000 to 100,000, that's like one of the best of the year, right? 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, that's like normal. You were selling like 1 million, 2 million copies of comics.
Jesus.
Like the X-Men reboot in like 91, the Jim Lee one, sold 7 million copies of the first issue. 7 million. Like, we're talking about a different sport. And that's all because this movie was so successful. It just put everybody back around comic books, and really, kind of kept this thing going. So, Batman '89 is. I mean, my parents had the vinyl soundtrack when I was a kid. I listened to it a lot.
Yeah, I have seen this movie on VHS countless times, which leaves us with only one movie.
Which is the most discussed Batman movie of all time. It's the obvious choice, which is The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
We started the conversation with Heath Ledger's Joker being the reason we put it as high as we did, and I mean, you and I kind of had a discussion where it's like the opening scene, largely based on Heat, is a great scene.
Yes.
And it stands on its own as this beautiful piece. And every scene Ledger has.
Every scene Ledger has.
All of them.
The party scene, the intro to the gangsters, the pool hall scene.
The interrogation's my favorite.
Interrogation. Every time he tells the story, he is absolutely hypnotizing, mesmerizing, magnetic.
He's amazing. And this movie had been so hyped, and Ledger died before it released, so there was so much build
And
up.
the skepticism behind him getting cast. I remember when he got cast, I was furious. And then that very first trailer came out where you didn't even see him.
Yeah.
You just heard his voice.
You just heard the laugh.
And then you heard the laugh.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit.
He just like has these moments. It's like, do you want to know how I got these scars? Like he just.
I don't know how I got these scars.
I'm like his vocal change, the way he goes to the high register and then the low register is so cool.
Look at me.
Oh, it's fucking
terrifying.
Yeah.
And like the idea behind it, like Heath Ledger did his own makeup because he figured the Joker would do his own makeup. And like when he filmed that scene with the guy that he kills, the look at me scene, he told Nolan, I want to hold the camera. Let me do it. And if it works for you, then we'll keep it. If it doesn't, you can shoot it. And Nolan loved it. Like, Ledger's a genius. Like Draco and I were talking about this the other day. Like even if you go back to Brokeback Mountain, there's the scene at the very end when he goes up to his room and there's the two shirts.
The shirts, yeah.
And he actually told Ang Lee that the shirts should be switched because originally it was a bloody shirt on the outside. And he's like, no, it wouldn't be this way. Ennis would be cradling, and so he turned it. Things like that. Like Heath Ledger was such a brilliant brilliant actor.
Yeah.
It's so sad to lose him as soon as we did, but like you saw it in this movie, like the guy's acting instincts actually changed what this movie was. What it ever will be.
I recently wrote this article, I think we talked about it on one of our other shows, for the Schmodown thing that was like, 10 years of my life that mattered, my favorite movie from each year.
Right.
And 06, or 05, my pick was Brokeback Mountain. And I just talk about how it's like really this performance gets a lot of attention, but truly his character of Ennis Del Mar is like, that's the unsung, like incredible. He's so good in that role.
What they do with anger and silence and inner turmoil in that movie is just beyond me.
It's as good as, that movie is really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Brokeback Mountain is our favorite
Batman movie. But yeah, Dark Knight is just immaculate. There's so many things. Again, Gordon is incredible. Like the
hospital scene when he gives the gun away to Two-Face.
The Hans Zimmer score to denote the Joker coming on screen is like my favorite thing in the world. That like high pitched, like piano wire.
Yeah,
it's just so good. It's just the best Batman movie.
It just is, and I honestly think it goes without argument for the most part. Like I'm one of the few people that used to think Begins was better, and now I'm thinking maybe Batman '89 might be. But like at the end of the day, The Dark Knight just makes you feel all the things you want to feel.
It has
watching
one
a Batman movie.
Extremely transcendent detail. So that is that's our list.
Yeah.
That's our top 10 Batman movies, the definitive ranking. We also have an episode like this we did about the Spider-Man movies, though it doesn't include Spider-Verse, unfortunately. But you guys can check that out. That's on the channel. Be sure to check out old episodes, Podcast 1 on the Movie Talk feed for Collider here, as well as the Collider Podcast Network YouTube channel.
Yes.
Check out Collider Live, all the other shows. And, of course, the Movie Trivia Schmodown comes back on the Schmodown YouTube page now.
Yeah.
On, I think it's like the end of this month. There's like a big New York live event they're doing this month.
The 25th, the award show goes up. I just did the Schmodown's awards last week. And remember, you can find the Action Movie Anatomy fan page on Facebook personally, which will end up joining the Action Guys and Action Movie Anatomy. You can find me personally at Andrew Guy on Twitter. You can find him at Ben Bateman Media. And we have, of course, at Team Action Show for the combined Twitter.
Yes, we do. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back same time, same place next week.